Hello and welcome to the round one preview of the 2023 AFL season. It's Carlton, Richmond at the MCG on Thursday night. Just the way we like it. Just the way we like it. We kick off the season, we get the opening game, we attract 85, 90,000 people, and we start again. So it's been an off season. The last memory we have of the AFL season is one of devastation, tears, bit of trauma, but all of a sudden it all comes together and we start again. Everyone starts on 0 points and we finally get a chance to move forward. And we finally get a chance as fans to see what work has been put in the off season. We get a chance to see, over the course of the year, what level of growth and what level of improvement and evolution we're going to see. This is the first year in a while where we've had stability around the club, around the leaders. When you talk about the president, the CEO, the head coach, stability, new game plan, this is now the same as last year. We talk about the leadership group, which was just announced that it would be remaining the same. These aspects give me confidence. These aspects for me are positive. I think we're a club that's had a really tumultuous past. In my experience, I come from the generation where I haven't seen much, if anything, resembling true success. So 2023 offers the opportunity for me and those in my generation to see that hopefully for the first time on a consistent basis, and then those who came before us to see it again, who have grown up with it and really have defined the club by the success. So that's exciting. Footy is the heartbeat of Melbourne. I truly believe that. I myself get a little lost without it. The footy is really part of my identity. The Blues, certainly part of my identity. I have such a strong love and passion and enjoyment from going to the football. Nothing in this world gets me anywhere near as excited as being at the football, those 2.5, 3 hours. Seemingly nothing else matters. And in a really complex world, in a really complex existence, the simple things that we focus on give us the most joy. And there's something to be said for that. There's so many elements and layers of life that are difficult and are complex. Health, society, the whole lot, the whole existence. We're very privileged to be living in Melbourne. We're very privileged to be living in Australia. We're a very safe country. We're not war-torn. And I think to be able, for whatever reason, to go to a football match and watch two teams kick a ball through a bunch of sticks, I think there's something really fascinating about that. I think it also lends itself to the understanding of how important sport is and what it does, not only as those who play, but those who engage and watch and participate. It really is its own community. And at the end of the day, yeah, it is just a game, but it does so much more for people. It brings people together. There's a sense of belonging. I think we all search for our community and we find our like-minded people in this Carlton community. We have one common passion, and that is the club. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be here, to be able to know that we're going to be going on Thursday night, to have the ability to go. We're only a few years removed from a time where we weren't going to the football. We weren't allowed to go to the football. It was taken away from us. So that must always be remembered. Now, what is Thursday going to hold? Who knows? We now move into this phase where I think we always knew that we could beat Richmond. Last year was the first time in such a long time where we actually did it. So I go into this year knowing it can be done. It's been done. Let's just see how it plays out. At the end of the day, we now know what our best looks like. We have a pretty clear understanding of what our best football looks like. We have a really clear understanding of what our not so great football looks like. The off-season has had its challenges with the injuries that we have had. But I think when you look at the overall picture and the overall health of the list, I think we're in a good spot to start the season. I know there's been some key injuries to some key players, particularly those who we would all have in our best 22. Obviously, Zach Williams is one of them. Sam Walsh is one of them. Of those, we know Zach won't be here for the entirety of the season. Walshy, we know we're going to get him back at some point early in the year, or whenever we get him. We know we're going to have a significant Sam Walsh season this year. So I'm not too worried about the health of the list. There's a few niggles here and there. That's natural. That's football. It's a brutal sport. They are undoubtedly putting everything that they have into their off season. And I think the key stakeholders or the key pillars of our spine are there and they're healthy. And so I don't think there's too much to worry about on the health front. And at the end of the day, we've got to come out on Thursday night, be ferocious at the contest, use our spacing well, have our synergy there. And it's really clear when the boys are on the same page and they're trusting each other. So, having said that, you still got to respect Richmond. They've got the wealth of experience in the group, and experience matters a lot. And experience matters when you're a team like us. And if we don't execute on what makes us a great team, will we get punished? The mistakes that we make during games, it's been a common thread over the last few years. The mistakes that we make against the good teams get punished most times, if not every time it seems. And Richmond is one of those sides. Having said that, there is a little bit of inexperience there. I mean, they've got a lot of experience at the top end. They've also injected some youth into the side. They've got some up-and-coming players. They've added some really, really good players in that midfield, which is going to give them a boost. That was one of the criticisms probably of Richmond towards the end of last year. That depth throughout the midfield was probably questioned a little bit. So they bring in some star talent, not just solid contributors, but that next level up, some real star talent. So I'm mindful of them. There's certain individuals that seem to get us quite a lot, and they have a really good record against us who are healthy. And I'm talking about guys like Dustin Martin, talking about guys like Shai Bolton, even guys like Tim Taranto, who was doing it at the Giants. So I'm wary of them. I have a lot of respect for Richmond, and how can you not? What they've built and what they've done is ultimately what we're trying to build and what we're trying to get to. We want to have a long run at it. I'm hoping that this year is the beginning of the real premiership window where finals is the minimum standard. And I hope this is year one of that. So I'm wary of Richmond. I'm confident that we can beat Richmond, and I'll show up on Thursday night and just absorb it all. And as it comes, it comes. From our end, those who are healthy and those who are probably borderline when it comes to selection, it's an interesting conversation. I was of the belief that Corey Durden was not ready to play. He had a calf complaint. I haven't read much since it was reported that he had the calf complaint. So in my mind, I've probably put him out of my calculations for the round one side. But over the weekend, it's been suggested that he could be ready for round one, which would be a good boost for us, because with him and Jesse Motlop and Matt Owies, that forward pressure that they bring, it's important for the way we play. So Corey Durden is now a factor for round one selection, I think. Jesse Motlop, there was some reports over the weekend that he had a calf complaint. They settled down a little bit, and from what I've read, it looks like he's expected to play or expected to be available. Guys like Mitch McGovern, who have had, I wouldn't say an interrupted preseason, but a different preseason to the rest of the group. He obviously played in that VFL practice match late last week. It looks like he's going to be available. These are important pieces for us. Caleb Marchbank's probably the other one who I would rate in our best 22. If he was fit and healthy, he hasn't played any of the practice matches in the preseason. I know he also had a calf complaint, so we'll see how that goes. But those are the players that I'm looking at who I probably thought might have not been selected or might have had a question mark over their heads as to whether they'd be selected, where I'm now a little bit more confident. So to get three of those four guys in the side would be important. If you haven't checked out the Best 23 video. Check that out. That was posted a few days ago. It's also a very special game. I know that it's just 4 points and it really is one game, but there is a storyline that has emerged and will emerge throughout this week, and that is the celebration of Jack Silvani. Jack Silvani will play, if he's selected, which, touch wood, I think he will be. Jack Silvani will play his 100th game, which is really significant because he becomes the third Silvani to play at least 100 games for the Carlton Football Club. I believe it'll be the first time that 3 generations play 100 games for the same club. I stand to be corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the right stat. And it's quite incredible to think about the journey of Jack and the Silvani name. And although it is a team sport, it really is a team sport, but the Silvani family, the Silvani name really lends itself to a story of really what this football club is all about and what it was all about back in the day, from when Sergio was playing and being from Italy and you know, coming to Australia and being accepted and being a part of a community and a family, and then lending himself to the club with his efforts. And then obviously Steve, who went on to do great things, and then now Jack. So I want to give an acknowledgement to Jack. I want to wish Jack all the best on his 100th game. It's been a real pleasure to see him grow up. And I think now at this point in his career, as we enter the 8th year of the iteration of Jack Silvani, I think, and I know I'm pretty confident in saying he's only going to get better from here. He's incrementally gotten better each year. I think within the Carlton fraternity, there is an appreciation for Jack, because even in our worst times, which have been the last, 20 years, but when Jack's been at the club, he's always displayed this sense of care, more than the common player, this real sense of care, and he knows what it's about, and he's literally got the blood in his veins. It's part of his DNA. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Jack play his 100th game. Hope it goes well. And I think when he kicks his goal this Thursday, which I'm pretty sure he will, it'll be a nice loud roar from us. And that's the other thing as well. The roar of the crowd. Oh my God. That's when you know you're home. It's when you know you're home, when you hear the Carlton voices. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens there. And yeah, we go, we embrace, and for 23 rounds plus hopefully whatever else we're able to play, we enjoy. And I'm so excited. I can't contain it. I'm so excited. It really brings structure to my life. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing every week now for the next 5 or 6 months. No question about it. And I'm someone who definitely lives amongst the chaos, but the chaos brings structure with it for me because it's so predictable of what's happening every week. And I definitely settle during the footy season, even though it's so chaotic, even though there's emotions running left, right, and center. There's just something so great about this game and so great about this club and its supporters. And, we're on a mission. We're on a mission to a premiership. We're on a mission to 100,000 members. So that's going to happen. The 100,000 members will certainly happen. The premiership, you can never really be confident. You can never really be confident that we're definitely going to win a premiership. At the end of the day, when it comes to season by season, what can you really hope for other than improvement from the year before? So on a high level, that's what I'm looking for. Improvement from last year. However big or small that looks, that's ultimately all I can really hope for. And then as it comes to us, we react, we discuss, and we absorb, and we go from there. So that's what I'm looking out for. Really curious to see where your head's at with this game. What do you think about some of the selection questions? There are a few of them. There's the ruck situation, the ruck question. Vossi did a really interesting grab last week around the ruck situation, referring to how we'll use it when we need to. I didn't feel from that he was saying we will use it every week. We'll use it when we need to, game by game. We'll assess it. So there's one question. Do we use both rucks for this game? The debutants, I think Cowan and or Hollands could play in round one. So there's a question that I'm looking forward to seeing as to whether we debut both of them, whether we debut one of them. My next question is who's actually going to come up for round one and be healthy for round one. I mentioned the names earlier. And then, again, the question of how are we going to handle the game? How are we going to handle the situation? How are we going to handle the heat when Richmond have their run? Because they will. They will have their run. How are we going to be able to manage the game? How are we going to be able to control the tempo of the game? So let me know what you think. What are your question marks heading into the season? What is your prediction for the game? Leave a comment below. The person who leaves a comment below predicting the correct margin will win a prize, which will be announced in the review. So I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Welcome back to season 2023. Welcome back to the Blue Abroad channel. For those of you, I look forward to covering this season with each and every single one of you. And let's get it. Go Blues.